Right now, an exclusive at 6, a Florida man's plot to set off homemade bombs in Target stores from Florida to New York.
So whoever picked up that device would have blown up.
His motive, money. Tonight, we take you inside the bizarre plot and show you how federal agents were able to stop this deadly attack. Plus, a viral video shows a local youth soccer league official calling police on a Jacksonville father, why he says he was racially profiled. Then a mysterious illness paralyzing children across the U.S. More than 100 cases nationwide, including suspected cases here in Jacksonville.
Always on your side. This is First Coast News at 6.
We begin tonight with a First Coast News exclusive. A Florida man behind a plot to detonate bombs in Target stores across the East Coast learned his fate today.
The bombs were placed in everyday items you would find on store shelves. We're talking pasta boxes, even greeting cards set to detonate when you take the box off the shelf or even open the card. Now, we don't know if any stores in our area or around the First Coast were going to be chosen by Mark Barnett, but there are about a dozen that could have been targeted. The plot was to place 10 bombs, at least one per state along the East Coast, to cause widespread chaos. First Coast News was given exclusive access to the evidence and how the ATF built its case. You've been doing this for how long?
18 years.
Have you ever seen something like this before?
No, not even close.
ATF Special Agent Dwayne Kruger cannot believe the plan Mark Barnett was orchestrating in a shed behind his Ocala home.
His plan was to construct 10 bombs.
10 bombs designed inside boxes of food and greeting cards, including this one, to be placed in stores from Florida to New York.
And that wire would pull the circuit, and the device, the bomb, would explode.
Barnett's plan was for explosions to happen in Target stores. Barnett told authorities he knew multiple explosions would scare people away from shopping there, making the stock drop and opening the door to make some money when it went back up.
Mark Barnett knew the risk, and he knew that Target stock would plummet after these bombs were planted. The quote, I believe, is, "If people have to die for me to make money, so be it."
ATF was able to stop Barnett with the help of a confidential informant, an informant that had been paid to place the constructed bombs in the stores.
He could have recruited somebody else to carry out this plot. The plot could have actually happened, and we would have a different interview probably right now.
Now, Barnett was sentenced to about 40 years in a federal prison. Tonight at 11, agents show us a replica of one of the bombs and how Barnett had planned for them to go off. It's a story you'll want to see.
New fears tonight about a mysterious disease that is spreading across the United States, causing partial paralysis in children. First Coast News was the first local station to bring you the story about acute flaccid myelitis, also known as AFM, on Monday. And all new tonight, we're learning about one confirmed case and another suspected case here in Jacksonville. On Your Side's Nick Pro joins us live from Wolfson Children's Hospital with the very latest on this. Nick?
Jeannie, yes, good evening. We can tell you out here, I talked to the Chief of Infectious Diseases. He wants to tell the public out there not to panic. This is not an epidemic. This is simply one case. As for the mother here of this case they're looking into as AFM, she says all she can do is simply sit and wait. Since Sunday, Wolfson's Children's Hospital has been home to Reba Faircloth and her 3-year-old daughter, Amira. Reba took her daughter to the doctor's office last week after Amira began vomiting. She says the doctor noticed she wasn't using her right arm. She says she didn't think anything of it, that maybe her daughter bumped it playing around. Things took a drastic turn, though, Sunday when her daughter went to plant her feet to walk and then collapsed. Doctors are now evaluating her 3-year-old daughter, Amira, for rare disease AFM, a rare condition involving gray matter that can cause arms and legs to become weak. The Chief of Infectious Diseases for Wolfson says all they can do is supportive therapy, as they don't know the cause. He did, however, add the disease does not appear to be contagious and encourages others to monitor their children as they usually would. If they suspect anything, to visit their pediatrician.
It's very heartbreaking to see her like that because she's not herself. For a mother to see their child not being themselves or not being able to do something for them, like she can't even feed herself. Like I had to feed her because she can't even pick up her arms.
And back out here live, mother tells me that on her left side, her daughter can move her left leg and her left hand barely up, As for her right side, only wiggling her toes. Keep it right here as we stay on top of this story. We're live tonight outside Wolfson Children's Hospital. Nick Perot, First Coast News, on your side.
Nick, thank you. So let's break down what we know at this point about AFM. It causes weakness in the arms or legs and mostly affects children. Despite nearly 400 cases in the U.S. since 2014, the CDC says it remains a very rare condition. Less than 1 in a million get it. Medical experts say they don't know what causes most cases, and because they don't know the exact cause, the CDC says it's important to practice disease prevention steps such as staying up to date on vaccines, washing hands often, and protecting from mosquito bites.
Tonight, a soccer parent wants an apology. Last Sunday, Gerald Jones, after a verbal confrontation with a field marshal, was kicked out of the game and police were called. The cell phone video of the incident that you see here is being seen as yet another case of racial profiling. But the question tonight, is it? On your side's Ken Amaro reports.
It was during a soccer game being played here at Davis Park that led to allegations of racial profiling. The alleged incident did not happen on the field, it happened off the field.
It's funny how everybody...
Portions of the incident were recorded on cell phone.
I talked to my son, and I still get this from you?
Gerald Jones, a soccer parent, says he was telling his son the referee is always right when he was confronted by a field marshal in a golf cart.
Then she was like, well, I'm going to call the police.
She told him to leave the park and then call St. Johns County deputies.
I have parents that are out of control and need to be removed from a youth soccer game.
When the deputy arrived, Jones told the deputy the same story.
I said, no, ma'am, I was only talking to my son, and that's it. But she kept going. I'm like, ma'am, I'm done with it.
This is what the field marshal told the deputy.
This guy's like nasty with him.
Maria Morales Walther was a witness to the incident.
So he was just like pretty much telling her, like, leave me alone, I'm leaving. You know, he's grabbing his stuff. That wasn't enough for her.
Gary Easom, president of the Ponte Vedra Athletic Association, says in a statement, which reads in part, the field marshal acted appropriately and without malice to ensure the welfare of the children she is charged with protecting. Unfortunately, an incomplete narrative of this incident was posted and sensationalized, creating a wholly inaccurate and irresponsible version with little relation to what actually happened that day. Was it perception, or was he really racially profiled? Jones is convinced of the latter. He became emotional when asked about his 13-year-old son.
He's biracial. What is he supposed to mark? White or black? It's too much.
Ken Amaro, First Coast News, on your side.
New tonight, the suspect wanted in connection to a shooting in Fleming Island is now in custody. The shooting happened about 8:30 this morning on Highway 17 from Hibernia Road to Water Oak Lane. Deputies say the suspect, 31-year-old Timothy Caro, shot a victim inside of their vehicle. He then took off, they say. The victim is expected to survive. He was caught more than 4 hours later. In St. Johns County, a man on the beach found a whale on the sand this morning. The beached whale is one of 3 large animals that have washed up on the First Coast in just 2 weeks. The Georgia Aquarium confirmed a dwarf sperm whale at 7 feet long, 7 feet 5 inches to be exact, nearly 300 pounds, washed up close to Crescent Beach in southern St. Johns County. Biologists are performing a necropsy to determine how it died, but they did say there was no sign of trauma.
Some Jacksonville firefighters are back home tonight after a 9-day trip for Hurricane Michael relief. A 14-man crew went to Panama City to help a trauma center evacuate patients to nearby hospitals. That medical strike team also ran emergency calls for towns that couldn't do it themselves. Deputy Division Chief Jake Blanton says that it was unforgettable seeing the damage in that area.
Yeah, you've seen the emotions of the people, what they're going through, you know. Part of it is you try to stay on task and get your work done, but obviously you're seeing the people, you know, it's just emotional to see how devastated they are and their livelihoods affected, you know.
Other units with Jacksonville's Urban Search and Rescue will be coming back home in the coming days.
The surprise of a lifetime for an Army veteran and his service dog. See the exact moment they laid their eyes on their brand new home.
And does your life need a little touch of sexy? Next, we take you to a place in St. Augustine.
And we've never seen 94 this late in the season, so where's the cool air? Out about Savannah, headed south. We'll take a close look.